How does a person become more sensitive to these energies?
How does a person become more sensitive to these energies? Doing the sadhana, one thing. If you take a little more drastic step like a Bhava Spandana, that could help. You've already been there, nothing moved. You volunteer there. See, 3 days is not a big affair. You may be thinking in your mind, oh, I went all the way to Atlanta and I did my Bhava Spandana and nothing moved inside me. 3 days, 1 weekend. I think I have changed the whole parameters of spiritual processes. And the expectations have become too big with people. For example, let's say Ramakrishna, let's say Ramana, who's more close in time. You know Ramana Maharshi, you heard of him? He's right now known as one of the, greatest mystics in 20th century, well known at least. Maybe not the greatest in those terms, but more well-known ones in the world. All this, he became known, he never left his ashram, he just stayed there, he never traveled anywhere. He barely taught anything to people, he had no education, very little he could speak and all this. A wonderful human being. We're not questioning his realization, he's a fantastic human being. I'm talking about his worldly skills. All that happened was, one American man went there, Ramana looked at him into his eyes and this man's spine shook. His spine trembled and that man got so inspired, he wrote books and books about Ramana. Everywhere in the world, in every language, he wrote books and put it everywhere. And Ramana became worldwide known just because this man's spine shook. I have you rolling. And expectations are becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, This used to happen in the 7 days itself. Earlier, in the initiation itself, I would have 80% of the people rolling on the floor. We stopped that because people were getting scared and running away and all those things. If you see what's happening in Samyama and various other processes that we are doing, the kind of energy contact that people have is so enormous. You won't see that, as far as I know, you won't see that anywhere else in organized groups. There are other people who'll do these things, but they will never be organized large groups, they always handle small number of people who are close to them, with them alone. In large number of people, an organized group of people like this, these kind of things happening, I don't think there's any other place like this anywhere in the world, where just, people gone And because of this, expectations are growing bigger and bigger and bigger. One weekend you go and come, you want to reach enlightenment now. One weekend you spared and you expect something else to happen. You're blown over by the experience, but you're beginning to think that's not enough, something else should happen. Because people around you are talking bigger things. No, don't go this way. You don't worry about these energies, you just give yourself to the sadhana. If you went to Gautama, Buddha, today he is nice to talk about 2500 years later. If you went to him, 2 years, you just require to simply hang around, simply sit there. They won't even give you work, no initiation, no practice, no teaching, no work. Even to earn the work, you have to hang there for 2 years. Even to sweep the floor in the ashram, 2 years you must wait. You understand? Then 2 years if you wait, then you can wash the dishes. 5 years if you wash the dishes, then you will be given the sutras which you can read and recite. Another 5 years if you do this, then you will get an initiation. We should have done it that way. Now, within a week you're initiated and in a weekend you're, going through ecstasies in Bhava Spandana, and it's not enough. High tech,
You mentioned that you want to spend more time on spirituality. Can you elaborate on that?
See, the programs themselves are complete by themselves in many ways, but still, in certain ways if you look at it, it's more like an introduction to a spiritual process. If one gives themselves totally to this 7 days itself can be a path to enlightenment. It has the ingredient in it. But how many people make that happen? That's always questionable. People just use it to get a little healthier, a little more peaceful, a little more stable, a little more something else. They're only thinking in terms of little more with the program. They're not thinking to reach out to their ultimate nature. So, for that, we would like to, because different people's needs are different ways, only to a certain point we can do common things with everybody. But beyond a certain point, it becomes very individualized. What you do with one person, you cannot do with the other person because it's very different. According to one's karmic structure, according to how one has built himself into, what kind of trap he's built himself into, accordingly, the solution has to be different too. So what is hardcore spirituality? Hardcore spirituality is a place where there's no teaching. Nobody's telling you how to be, how not to be, all this. It's fundamentally handling the life in you, not your mind, not your emotion, not your body, just handling the life energies and taking them in a certain direction. You see, the moment you sit here, you're a little disturbed, people are going, they're making noises, and if you let them be, they'll go through the ceiling. If you just let them loose, there are people here who will just, fly through the ceiling. They're like that.